Sarah, an avid hiker with a thirst for adventure, had always been drawn to the mysteries of the forest. Armed with her backpack, camera, and a sense of excitement, she embarked on a solo journey into the Whispering Woods. The sun dipped below the horizon as she entered the shadowy embrace of the trees, the rustling of leaves and the distant calls of nocturnal creatures serving as her only companions. As Sarah ventured deeper into the woods, a sense of unease began to gnaw at her. Strange noises echoed through the trees, and she couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. Ignoring the warning bells ringing in her mind, she pressed on, determined to uncover the secrets hidden within the forest's embrace. As night fell, Sarah made camp in a small clearing, the flickering flames of her campfire casting dancing shadows on the surrounding trees. Despite her exhaustion, sleep eluded her, and she found herself staring into the darkness, her senses heightened by the eerie silence that enveloped the forest. Then, faint at first but growing steadily louder, Sarah heard the strains of a haunting melody drifting through the night air. It sounded like a flute, its mournful notes echoing through the trees with an otherworldly beauty. Intrigued, Sarah followed the sound deeper into the woods, her heart pounding with a mixture of fear and fascination. As Sarah navigated the twisting paths of the forest, the melody led her to a clearing bathed in moonlight. There she saw a spectral figure standing amidst the trees, its form shimmering in the darkness. It was a woman, her features twisted in anguish as she reached out to Sarah with ghostly hands. "Help me," the woman whispered, her voice a faint echo in the night. "We are trapped here, lost souls doomed to wander these woods for eternity." Sarah's blood ran cold as she realized she was standing among the spirits of those who had perished in the Whispering Woods. With a shudder, she turned to flee, but the forest seemed to conspire against her, the trees shifting and twisting to block her path. Desperate to escape the grasp of the forest, Sarah stumbled blindly through the underbrush, her heart pounding in her chest. But no matter which direction she turned, the trees seemed to close in around her, their branches reaching out like gnarled fingers to ensnare her. Then, from the depths of the forest, she heard the sound of heavy footsteps approaching. Panicking, Sarah pressed herself against a tree, her breath coming in ragged gasps as she prayed for the approaching danger to pass. But it was no use. Emerging from the shadows came a creature unlike anything Sarah had ever seen. Towering over her with eyes that glowed like hot coals, it snarled and bared its fangs, its breath hot and fetid against her skin. With a cry of terror, Sarah turned and fled, the creature's roars echoing through the forest as it pursued her with relentless determination. Branches tore at her clothes, roots snaked out to trip her. But still, she ran, driven by sheer adrenaline and the instinct to survive. Just when she felt her strength beginning to wane, Sarah burst through the trees and stumbled into a moonlit clearing. Before her stood a figure cloaked in shadows, its eyes gleaming with an otherworldly light. "Who are you?" Sarah gasped, her voice trembling with fear. The figure stepped forward, revealing itself to be a guardian of the forest, a protector of its secrets and its mysteries. With a gesture, it banished the creature back into the darkness from whence it came, leaving Sarah alone in the clearing, shaken but alive. As dawn broke over the Whispering Woods, Sarah emerged from the forest, her mind reeling from the events of the night. Though she had escaped with her life, she knew that she would never forget the horrors she had witnessed within its depths. Gathering her belongings, she made her way back to civilization, her heart heavy with the knowledge that the Whispering Woods held secrets that were not meant for mortal eyes. But even as she left the forest behind, she couldn't shake the feeling that it was watching her, waiting for the day when it would call her back into its embrace once more. And so, the legend of the Whispering Woods lived on, its mysteries and terrors haunting the dreams of those who dared to venture into its depths, forever whispering of the darkness that lurked within. Months passed since Sarah's harrowing encounter in the Whispering Woods, but the memory of that night continued to haunt her dreams. Determined to confront her fears, she resolved to return to the forest, this time accompanied by a group of fellow adventurers. Together, they planned to explore the abandoned cabins rumored to be hidden deep within the woods, hoping to uncover the truth behind the whispered tales of ghostly apparitions and unspeakable horrors. As they made their way along the overgrown trail, the group couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. The oppressive silence of the forest broken only by the occasional rustle of leaves and the distant hoot of an owl. But despite their unease, they pressed on, drawn by the promise of adventure and the lure of the unknown. At last, they came upon the first of the abandoned cabins, its weather-beaten walls standing silent sentinel amidst the encroaching foliage. With trepidation, they pushed open the creaking door and stepped into the darkness within, their flashlights casting eerie shadows on the rotting floorboards. As they explored the dilapidated interior, strange phenomena began to occur. Objects moved of their own accord, disembodied whispers echoed through the empty rooms, and cold drafts chilled them to the bone. But it was when they stumbled upon a hidden trapdoor in the floor that their true nightmare began. With trembling hands, they pried open the trapdoor and descended into the darkness below, their flashlights piercing the gloom like beacons in the night. But as they explored the labyrinthine tunnels that lay hidden beneath the cabin, they soon realized that they were not alone. From the shadows emerged grotesque creatures, their forms twisted and deformed by years spent in the depths of the earth. With inhuman speed and agility, they pursued the intruders, their eyes gleaming with hunger as they closed in for the kill. Faced with overwhelming odds, the group fought desperately for their lives, their screams echoing through the tunnels as they battled against the horde of creatures that sought to tear them apart. But as their numbers dwindled and hope began to fade, Sarah refused to surrender to despair. With a cry of defiance, she rallied her companions and led them in a final desperate charge against their attackers. Though bloodied and battered, they fought with a courage born of desperation, determined to overcome the horrors that lurked in the depths of the earth. And in the end, it was Sarah who delivered the killing blow, her makeshift weapon striking true and banishing the creatures back into the darkness from whence they came. With their enemies defeated and their ordeal at an end, the survivors emerged from the tunnels and stumbled back into the light of day, their bodies bruised and battered, but their spirits unbroken.